Good morning and welcome to Things You Might Have Heard for Thursday, February 9th, 2023. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, your news side piece man, and hoping to bring you some great stories. I'm going to bring you some stories. Hopefully you find them great. These are 8 news stories that were vetted by you from yesterday to talk about for this morning. We let you tell me what to talk about. You basically made the script for the news stories, and we are so glad you do that. And hopefully I picked the right stories. Now, there's a mix to this. You vet the stories, and I picked some stories out of the top listing, and we'll explain that in about 12 minutes when we go through the main headline. So you'll get the full details on the feeds part. As you saw in the picture, we're talking about Leo and his young girlfriend, his very young girlfriend, his very, very, very young girlfriend, and a few other things, 8 things in total, plus some fun stuff at the end after headlines. So stick around for all that great stuff. If you want to find out more details about us in the meantime, the after time, because I'm sort of speaking to you right now, check out our website. This is theconversationproject.com. More about that, i.e. more me, on a moment. But first, and most importantly, let's get to the news headlines for this morning. 8 stories vetted by you, curated by me. Story number 1. LeBron James breaks NBA's all-time scoring record, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Plenty of stars were on the scene, of course, 2 days ago, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who, believe it or not, is the highest scorer in the NBA, or was until LeBron James broke his record over the past couple of decades, scoring 38,388 points to pass the record. With 10.9 seconds left in the third quarter of the game, with the crowd going nuts. We've been watching this for a couple of days now, and it was going to happen. Big thing was it happening before All-Star break or after All-Star break at the pace that LeBron was going? LeBron scored 2 more points in the fourth quarter to break the record officially of 1,560 points in a game. But the night belonged to him as he became the second highest scoring player in NBA history. So there you go. So he surpassed Kareem in that action going on there. The robot editor does not have the first in here, but it does have everything else going on there. So LeBron James passing Kareem for points just 2 nights ago. And depending on how much longer he plays, he may get a chance to pull that one spot. Bomb threat halts Alex Murdaugh trial. Courthouse is evacuated. A lot of craziness happened in the trial yesterday for Alex Murdaugh, including the fact that they had to leave the room because the bomb threat was called in that halted the trial for the day. A sudden announcement in the televised trial brought heightened drama to the proceedings against Murdaugh. One powerful South Carolina lawyer who is now being on trial for murder, which the rumor has, at least the way it's being played out, is the murders were a way to distract people from his financial issues, although he wasn't supposed to be caught in the murders. He's 55 years old, accused of fatally shooting his wife and younger son, and a fraud, and hiring a hitman to plot things, plus having a drug addiction. A whole lot of crazy going on, and an extra crazy in the day as you watched it live, when all of a sudden they escort everybody out of the building because of the bomb threat. We'll see this thing play on much further. Now, yesterday we talked about the Google Bard. And Google Bard, or Bard Google, is the new AI chatbot that Google was outlining so that they could fight with OpenAI and ChatGPT and all the other stuff's going on. Well, they had some issues yesterday. Alphabet, that is the parent couple of Google now, had their shares go down a bit, about 9% total during a regular trading day, because, well, they brought its chatbot out and they asked it some questions and it screwed up the stuff. It literally could not answer proper questions. The internet accolade could not do the proper things by finding the right answers to questions in its testing. Because of that, people are a little leery of that, although, beta versions are always kind of crazy. This is the first time they've rolled this thing out, and basically they've rushed it to order because of the OpenAI's version and other people trying to come to market. We're pretty sure that Alphabet will get it on the stick and figure this one out very quickly. More Super Bowl related stuff to talk about, including this actual news story. Michael Irvin pearled from NFL Network Super Bowl coverage. That's LVII 52, if you will, because of an altercation in a hotel where a woman is accusing Mr. Irvin of doing not so nice things. Mr. Irvin says there was no physical touching. There was nothing of the sort. It was just a minor incident. But because of it, at the moment, Irvin is pulled from the broadcast for NFL Network for its Super Bowl week stuff. I don't know what it brings or takes away from the aspect that he's not on his coverage. You guys can tell me what you think about that in any form where you're getting this news from. Now, Disney has big plans. Bob Iger came back to save Disney, and right now he's going to save Disney some money by laying off 7,000 people. It's what you do when you're running out of money. You make people go away, so there's less people to pay, and then you make people that are there do a little more work, so there's less people to pay. How long will this layoff go on? We won't know, but for right now, they're eyeing 7,000 jobs over across the full platforms of Disney, ABC, all their platforms to make up for the losses in revenue right now. Bob Iger doing what he can to right the sinking ship, and right now he believes that means throwing some people overboard. Let's move on to the next story from our teaser graphic. Leonardo DiCaprio, 48, slammed over romance with Eden Polani, 19. Now, here's a fun fact you can take on your bar trips. Leonardo DiCaprio, who is 49, almost 50 years old, has never dated a woman over 25 years old. Literally, never. In fact, when he was 25, he was dating women around the same age and he'd break up with them. In most cases, he tends to start dating them long-term relationships around 18, 19, 20, and then dumps them at 24, 25. He's not actually, the supermodel hanger-on type that has people all over the place. He tends to have long-term relationships with extremely young women, which, if you're Leo, apparently you can pull that until people call you out for it. In fact, there's a picture on Instagram, one of the social media things, with him and the 19-year-old walking a puppy, and people basically noting that the puppy is probably older than his girlfriend because he's been long enough to have this puppy. We will see what's going on. She is listed as a Parisian model and and so that's what she does, and an actress in some sense. They've been apparently going out for a bit. Now they're being seen in public. Leonardo DiCaprio with his current girlfriend, who is, young enough to be his daughter. As creepy as that is, let's move on to something that might be a bit more creepier for a different sense. Quantum Leap reboot plummets to new ratings low after tackling a controversial topic. So everybody was at least in love with the new reboot of Quantum Leap, the new version of it, the new super diverse version of it, if you will. An Asian man doing the leaping, a black man being in charge, a gay person running the computers. And now they're sort of not quite stuck to landing, if you will. Here's what's happened. The rebooted classic series Quantum Leap's viewership numbers have fallen exponentially since a follow-up season has ordered, with a recent episode hitting an all-time low. It's not completely clear why audiences have taken a big step away from it, but the episode has the new leaper, Ben Song, tackling a issue on transgender sports, where there's a transgender girl who wants to play sports, but because she was assigned a male at birth, is not allowed to play sports as the girls. Because of this, people are going all bonkers over the issue because it's Quantum Leap getting woke, I guess. We will see how things traverse going forward, as people were so in love with the whole thing until essentially this episode, how this is going to play out for the peoples going forward. But right now, we will see. I'm about 2 episodes behind. I've not seen the full episode, although my wife watched the one when he was in his Groundhog Day time loop. And so I kind of saw bits and pieces that, over his shoulder. But I've not seen the new episode from this week. So I don't know exactly why it is such a bad thing, because I've not seen it. But we'll see how this plays out going forward. And finally, Fawlty Towers set for reboot as well. After more than 40 years, Fawlty Towers is a staple of British television that people still love now and again. 40 years later, it's coming back with John Cleese to star alongside his daughter, which means John Cleese has not been canceled. That's basically it. John Cleese has not been canceled. Long he believes he is, say he is, but not quite yet. Let's go to our teaser story for our story we may talk about if you deem this story good enough, essentially. And this is a story that's breaking for the most part. I believe it happened late in the afternoon, but as I was posting things late in the evening, this one did not show up, so I'm posting it for the early morning. Senator John Fetterman is rushed to hospital after feeling lightheaded. Doctors say initial tests do not show evidence of another stroke. Now, in most cases, a trip to the hospital does not happen just because you're lightheaded. You just sit down. But of course, he just had a stroke. And so they take precautions in these things. He is one of the people who are precarious in their roles in the new Congress. We talk about George Santos a lot because he's a liar. John Fetterman had some issues because of his health. We will see how this plays out, and we will see if we talk about this tomorrow. If you say we're going to go to our website feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/this is the conversation project and twitter.com/th_conversation, and let me know what stories we talk about. You engage in the stories, like them, love them, hate them, share them. And tomorrow morning, we're going to take the top 15 stories from about 30 to 33 stories that maybe get posted in the day, and we're going to take 8 of them, pick them, shuffle them. They won't be in any particular order as I present them, other than this sounds like a great order to put them in the news stories. But your engagement score helps me pick the stories for tomorrow. And if we pick stories that you would rather me not talk about, or we don't pick the stories that you'd rather me talk about, comment here in the video comments and the podcast comments on the website and let me know so I can do a better job of looking for the stories that you really want. Because like I said, there's a range of stories. It's not exactly by the numbers, a range of stories. And I go by the ones that seem like they make the most narrative story for the morning. Now let's talk about sponsorship and keeping us on the air. If you want to go to thisistheconversationproject.com/sponsors, you can see a full list of sponsors that are always spotlighted here on the show. Today, we'll quickly spotlight Zenni Optical, Zenni. Zenni Optical is a great website for great glasses. I am wearing glasses right now. I've been wearing the same, literally, frames of glasses for probably 8 years now, and I've been getting them from Zenni Optical. But before they were cool, they were always cool to me because they give you great glasses at a very, very low price. They give you great lenses at a very, very low price. They have all the technology you need, including blue blocker types and blue screen types and sports glasses and things like that. Bifocals, trifocals, they got them all, and you can get them from Zenni Optical at a very, very, very good price that will make you happy. And if you go to them, it will make us happy because we'll get a couple pennies off of your purchase. And it will be pennies because your purchase is going to be so great, so low, you're going to love it. Check them out at thisistheconversationproject.com/Zenni. This is theconversationproject.com/Zenni. We'll take any pennies you want to toss our way, and we'll definitely take them when you use a great site, a great use for people like this at Zenni Optical. Quick talk about us. The Conversation Project is at theconversationproject.com. As we already said, there is pages where you can go to sponsors. Well, that's great. There's also actual stuff there to see. The Conversation Project does its best to bring in people, that's you folks out there in the internets around the world, to great conversational topics and conversational venues. We have a couple different podcasts. We have a couple different newsletters, a couple different things. And this podcast or video in various forms as well that comes out Monday through Friday mornings. Check us out to see what you can find and how to find it at thisistheconversationproject.com. And if we are providing you some fairly good feedback, fairly good content, give us some great feedback and let us know if you would like to partner up with us by going to our partnership page and help keep things going along. Now, this is the fun part of the day, the fun stuff. The today things you might have heard on the day, starting off with birthdays, it's starting off with Judith Light. Now, Judith Light was in a recent episode of Poker Face on Peacock, and it was a very riveting episode. But one of the things that I looked at, because she was playing a character in a retirement home, is how is she looking so old? And then I had to remember that Who's the Boss was in the 80s. That was 40 years ago. And Judith Light is 74 years old, looking awesome, but looking like she's in her 70s and doing roles like she's in her 70s. And this role, if you haven't seen Poker Face, you have to watch first the pilot so you understand how it works, and then watch this episode, one of the latest episodes. She pulled off a grand performance in this one, something that was unexpected from all venues. Moving on to some Marvel guys and semi-Marvel guys. Tom Hiddleston turning 42 years old today. He's going to be in Loki coming soon again as Loki, which is coming very soon. And Michael B. Jordan, who reprised his Killmonger role as a spirit ghost in the past Black Panther, and will come up in Creed 3, the movie that he is taking over from the Rocky franchise, making it his own. He is producing this. He's doing his own thing. And oddly enough, starring Jonathan Majors, who is a star of Loki and other Marvel things. Michael B. Jordan turning 36 years old on the day. Today is Chocolate Day. It is not World Chocolate Day. It's not National Chocolate Day. It is the third day of the Love Week, which really shouldn't exist, but it's there. And Chocolate Day is the third day of the Love Week. I forgot what the first day was. We didn't even think about it. So first day was the 7th. Yesterday was Proposal Day because people propose on the 8th, I guess. And chocolate has to be a part of it because of marketing. Valentine's Day is the 14th. Today is the 9th. You do the math. And so make sure you've set up with your chocolates. We do a lot of advertising for a place called Flowers Fast. If you go to this, it's a conversation project.com, Flowers Fast, they can send you some chocolates or some flowers for your Valentine. You can do that now, or you can wait till the day of. That's on you, but be prepared. Valentine's Day is February the 14th. Today is the 9th. Today in history. Now, there were some actual, interesting things that happened in history today, but we're going with this one right here. A Jacksonville, Florida mother forced her child to hold a sign outside a school that said he was sorry for his bad behavior. The second grader held a sign that stated, quote, "I was rude to my teacher. I can't come to school. I'm sorry," unquote. Now, the boy's mother had to go to work, so the boy's mother, or the boy's mother stood by nearby to ensure the child was safe of the activity. Nobody was going to mess with the child as he stood outside all day holding a sign in the street. And she said that this was the only way she knew she could get her son's attention, by embarrassing him completely. I don't know what happened to this child. Apparently he went on to do better things. There's no criminal record of no people on TV that they bring back. Oh, and by the way, in 2008, this kid had to stand inside with a sign. It's just what it is. These things we can't do anymore, but we have some stories popping up in the next couple of days that will remind you that maybe we should give out more creative punishments, or just flat out butt whoopings for these kids these days. Also, 1942, daylight savings time went into effect for the first time in the United States. The Weather Bureau was established in 1870. We've been checking weather since 1870. And William G. Morgan invented volleyball in 1895, and so that George Santos can dominate the sport, or something like that. Now, it's that time of year again. We're talking Super Bowl stuff. Yeah, Valentine's is on Tuesday. Yeah. But Super Bowl stuff, Super Bowl stories, they tend to be repetitive, but they tend to be things we forget until they happen. So this time, we want to warn you about your bathroom break at halftime during the Super Bowl, because it could be dangerous to the health of your plumbing and maybe your city's plumbing. It's called the halftime flush, and it's something that they actually test at every single stadium, because at halftime, all the people leave the stands and go to the bathroom and flush the toilets at the same time. A brand new stadium in any arena, any venue, has to be tested for things like that, massive flushing, because if the pipes can't stand it, the pipes can't stand it. And so essentially, halftime comes and everyone in America goes and flushes the toilet. That's 100 million people flushing toilets at the same time during the halftime show. And that many toilets flushing could be problems on all the pipes in the nation. Maybe not a nationwide blackout, but your city could have some issues, and you may have some backups because your neighbors are all flushing at the same time. Millions will take a break and head to the bathroom at halftime. So, but not all of us are doing the exact business at exact same time. So, normally it doesn't really come into a big flush of a problem, pun intended. This weekend, be mindful. You might want to wait a few minutes into the halftime show. You might want to wait until the analysts start going. You might want to maybe go in minute or 2-minute warning. You might. I mean, you can. We can take our phones with us and watch it on our phone. So don't have to wait necessarily to the halftime flush for a halftime flush. Thank you so much. Today has been Thursday, February the 9th, 2023. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. I'm saying thank you so much for all of the folks who stuck around for all the crazy that we do here on this thing. A couple extra birthdays just for you guys. Carole King turning 80 years old. Joe Pesci, man, I wish I could have got him in there at 80. I'm sorry, Carole King is 81. Joe Pesci at 80 years old. Mia Farrow at 78 years old. And also Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny. It's Always Funny. Is it funny? It's not. I don't think it's funny, but the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and a bunch of weird commercials at 47 years old today. Maybe I shouldn't have did that part. I'm going to say stay hydrated, stay motivated, and stay on task, and stay limber too. These are for you to do the things you need to do to be a great person in the year 2023 and beyond. We need you for great things you're going to do. So keep on doing them and make sure you keep yourself in the best top tip shape to do that. In the meantime, we are running a little early, running a little short. So we're going to just bow out and say thank you so much for the Thursday edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Stop by our website. This is conversationproject.com for more details on how you can get this and other forms. And make sure you follow us on the feeds on Facebook and Twitter so that you get your right stories voted up. We got one more in us for the kitty for tomorrow, for Friday. So Lord willing, creek don't rise. No lightheadedness and trips to doctors. We'll see you for the Friday edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.